Hey, my name's Michael. I'm going to call this video, What is an Income Fireball Anyway? And the tagline is going to be, An Experiment in Financial Independence. Now, I don't really like the term financial independence that much. We're actually all interdependent, but in this case I'm using financial independence to mean essentially that you do not rely on your income from your job to sustain yourself for the foreseeable future. So the income fireball is an experiment towards financial independence, I suppose. So some of you may have heard of the term debt snowball, and so this is a technique for paying off your debts. The way you do it is you list your debts from smallest payoff balance to largest payoff balance, and you put a lot of effort into paying off debt, and you pay minimum payments on everything but the one that has the smallest payoff balance, and then you pay as much as you can on that every single month until it is gone. So for example, your smallest debt may be, I don't know, $400 to a doctor that you weren't able to pay. And so that month you may have $300 towards paying debt, so you pay minimum payments on everything, and then you put as much of that $300 towards that first debt. And then the next month you're like, oh, I paid off half the balance on that debt. That's pretty exciting. You put in a little more effort, and you keep going at it harder and harder, and soon you're paying off tons towards debt every month, and the list disappears. And so if you look at it mathematically, this is actually not the correct way to pay off debt. The correct way to pay off debt mathematically would just be to list the debts from highest interest rate to lowest interest rate and attack the ones with the highest interest rate first. But psychologically, you get a little bit of a victory from when you pay off that first debt. You say, yes, this is working, I'm going to put more effort into it. And really what counts is your effort, not being mathematically correct. And that's why the debt snowball works. And then once you're out of debt, then you can start thinking about the future. So the debt snowball is about fixing mistakes from the past, paying off your debts, cleaning up messes. And then, so the income fireball is looking towards the future. So if the future is financial independence as defined earlier, then you need to make steps towards that. And so one thing you can do, which is probably a fine way to do it, is just to put 15% of your income into a retirement account every single month until you get to retirement age, and then you probably should have enough to live off of. But that being said, first, I'm not excited by the concept of retirement. I think that we're made to work. Work is exciting, work is fun. So just retiring and hanging out on the beach and being self-indulgent, that doesn't appeal to me. Also, these retirement accounts, they start out at the age of 59 and a half or 65, depending on what you got. What if you want to get there earlier? So the concept with the income fireball is that you actually start practicing retiring now. So instead of waiting until sometime far off in the future, you go ahead and start retiring now. Now, different people have different opinions about this, but I'm going to say a safe withdrawal rate for the purpose of this experiment is going to be 6% per year. So that means that if you have a nest egg of $1,000, not much, 6% of that is $60. So you could take the $60 out of that account every year if it is well invested, and never eat into your principal, and also hopefully account for a little bit of inflation. So the S&P 500 historically has returned about 11% per year, not adjusted for inflation. Inflation tends to be around 2, 3, 4%. So after you adjust for inflation, you're netting between, say, 7 and 9% per year if you just invest in something broad like the S&P 500 index. So I'm going to say, for the purpose of this experiment, that a 6% per year drawdown will be enough to sustain you indefinitely and account for cost of living adjustments. Here's how it goes. You say, okay, well, what is my smallest monthly budget expense? So you go look at your budget and you say, what do I spend money on? And so things that would probably be small would be like subscriptions to entertainment services, maybe things like your cell phone plan, possibly life insurance. If you have term life insurance, it's very inexpensive on a monthly basis. Automobile insurance, your fun money category. And so you list your expenses from smallest to largest. So, smallest is your YouTube premium subscription at about $11 a month. And then your next smallest is your cell phone bill at $20 a month. I pay $20 a month for my cell phone bill. If you pay more, I think you should consider a mobile virtual network operator, but that's a topic for another video on frugality. And then you keep going down through the list. The next one, $35 a month for life insurance. The next one, you're spending maybe $45 a month on your automobile insurance. And so you look at this list and you say, okay, so that $11 that I'm spending on YouTube Premium, and so how much do I need to put aside in an account to be able to spend $11 a month indefinitely and account for inflation. And so here we can use the 200x rule. So if your safe drawdown rate is 6%, you need to save up 200 times your monthly expense to be able to draw that amount out of your account each year. So in the $11 a month case, 200 times that is $2,200. So if you have $2,200 well invested, you can pull off $11 a month from that indefinitely, and it shouldn't eat into your principal if it's well invested, and you should also be able to account for inflation. So here's how the experiment goes. So I look at the smallest expense. In my case, it's a subscription to an online library service called Epic. It has curated kids books. The kids have a lot of fun reading it, and the subscription cost is $7 a month. So $7 a month times 200 is $1,400. So what I do is I go ahead and as soon as I have $1,400, I go invest that in a brokerage account, buying a mix of mutual funds, perhaps some individual stocks. Not trying to time the market, not trying to concentrate in one particular stock. Well diversified, and then every month from that brokerage account, I'm going to start, as soon as I've invested $1,400, I'm going to start drawing out $7 a month into a separate checking account, and I'm going to pay the bill for that particular thing, for Epic, out of that new checking account. And then I proceed to the next thing. So what is the next thing on my list? I think it's YouTube Premium, $11 a month about after taxes. And I need to save an additional $2,200 total to cover YouTube Premium, hopefully forever. And so I save that $2,200 and put it into my brokerage account. As soon as I have that $2,200 set aside, I start drawing $7 plus $11, $18 into that separate checking account, and I start paying YouTube Premium and Epic both out of that separate checking account. And at that point, $18 out of my monthly expenses start getting paid out of that account. And for our family, our total monthly necessity expenses, I'll say, are roughly $4,000. We could go more frugal and spend less than that. We could go extravagant and spend more. And so with Epic, that's $8 a month out of $4,000. 1% of $4,000 is $40, so that's a fifth of 1%, 0.02%. So once I have that covered, I will be 0.02% retired. That's not much, but it's something. And then once I have YouTube Premium paid for, that's $7 plus $11, that's $18 a month out of our $4,000 a month that we're spending. That's a little less than 0.5%, but then I'm 0.5% retired. And then once I got a few more things in there, once I got $40 a month covered, that's $8,000 in the brokerage account, I will be 1% retired. And then if you look at that, you're like, oh yeah, I'm making some progress. So the goal is, it will apply the same psychological trick that you use with the debt snowball of, oh, look at that, I'm making progress, and apply it instead to financial independence. Yeah, and then each month, now that you've applied that, that frees up a little bit of money. So once I put aside that $1,400 for Epic, I have freed up $7 a month of my regular income, and I can spend that $7 a month to invest even more in the income fireball. So just like the debt snowball, every time you pay off a debt, that frees up that monthly payment to go put towards other payments. Here, every time that you get rid of an expense, by putting it into your financial independence fund, into your income fireball fund, every time you save up enough to cover that expense, you have that much more from your regular monthly income to put into your income fireball fund. It rolls over every month, and every month you become slightly more financially independent until everything is in there. And so, yeah, what are the advantages of this? Well, first, I don't know, this is an experiment. I imagine some people have tried it before, but one thing that I often see on these financial independence forums is, am I ready? Can I do this? So they've been socking away money for years and years, and so I'll see people on the forum. I saw someone the other day, he was 47 years old, and he has about $3 million saved up, and he said, here have been my historic expenses. He asked the forum members, can I do this? Can I quit my job now? And he was uncertain. And so with the income fireball, you already go ahead and you start practicing this. So you start paying for small expenses out of your income fireball fund, and then as you get closer and closer, you say, yes, I can do this, or maybe maybe 6% per year is in fact a too big drawdown rate. Maybe you're eating into your principal, and if you're eating into your principal and you eventually consume your nest egg, that's not going to work. So maybe I'm a little over optimistic on 6% per year. A lot of other people say 4% per year. I've run some numbers historically through S&P 500 returns accounting for inflation, and I think 6% per year works. But if you've never done it before and you reach the age where you have enough money saved up where you think, yes, I can do this, you might be uncertain because you've never practiced. You might say, well, now I'm nervous. Will this work? I don't know. But if you practice on the way to getting there, I think there is a chance that you will be able to say, yes, this is the point. I have now reached financial independence. I'm no longer monetarily reliant on having my job day to day. And I now have the options that I was looking to have. And it may be at a younger age than 65, or you may not reach that until later. I'm still pretty young, and I think it's fairly realistic that I will hit that point at a younger age than 65. My goal is not to stop working. I think having something exciting to do is productive is more exciting to me than hanging out on the beach and sticking my toes in the sand. But there may be times where you say, hey, you know what? I want to do this moonshot project. I got an idea, and I just want to, I want to say, well, let's give this a shot. It's not going to make me any money for probably at least 3 years, but I'd like to try it. And if you don't have, if you're not financially independent, you may not be able to do that, or you may have to, beg and borrow. And borrowing for business most business ideas flop. But sometimes it's exciting to do those moonshot projects. Or maybe you want to do something that is not financially lucrative, like hang around with your grandkids and raise them up to be great people. I don't have grandkids yet, but based on the number of kids that I have, I will eventually have some grandkids, and it'd be nice not to be tied down to a job. So financial independence does have some appeal to it, and a lot of people who are striving towards financial independence get nervous once they think they've possibly hit the spot. Once they had a target in their mind earlier, they've reached the target and they're like, was that actually what I was shooting for? And so here, instead of just saving until you hit that target, and you're like, wait, is that the right target? Instead, you go and you practice as you go along, and you start being a little financially independent as you go along. So one important thing to keep in mind here is this is not for you if you still have debt. So if you still have debt, the better thing to do with your money rather than socking it away into an investment fund is to pay off that debt. For example, if your house payment is $1,000 a month, your payoff balance in that house is almost certainly less than $200,000. But to cover that $1,000 a month, using my 200x rule, you'd need to sock away $200,000. So it's better to just go ahead and pay that off, both from a mathematical standpoint as well as from a psychological standpoint, from a risk management standpoint. Having debt puts risk into your life, and if you're Christian, if you believe what the Bible has to say, the Bible talks a lot about debt, and it doesn't have very many positive words for it. So avoiding debt is a good biblical thing to do. So before you consider this, you definitely need to go ahead and eliminate your debts. And once you've had some momentum eliminating your debts, by the time you get around to save for the future, you'll have a lot of cash flow that was going to paying off debts that you can then use towards an income fireball. Another thing before you get going with this is you need to have a monthly budget. You need to plan in advance what you intend to spend that month and stick to it, and then make sure that you're sticking to it. And that is an important step before you get going in any of this. All right, so guys, this is just an experiment. I've only just now started it. I think I'm about $4,500 into it, and so that takes care of $4,500 divided by 200 is $2,250 a month. So I got $2,250 a month of financial independence, and this is in addition to other retirement funds and college savings accounts that I have. I'm not counting that in the income fireball, because those are tied up. If I start taking money out of that, pay all sorts of taxes. So that's not counted towards that. Also not counting my emergency fund towards that. Your emergency fund is not there to make you money. It should not be invested in anything. It should be in a savings account that'll probably not even be keeping up with inflation, but it covers you in case something goes funky and you have a large unexpected expense. It should be about 4 months of your regular expenses. So I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Stick around on this channel, and I will post updates as they come along, let you know as we make progress. I'll let you know if I have any great new ideas. And this particular video will probably be remade a few times because this is an idea in its infancy. Alright, well, I hope you guys stick around. We got a stock picking game with my kids where we spin the wheel to decide which stocks to pick to put in the Income Fireball account. Hopefully that should be entertaining. I'll hopefully also have some informative videos, maybe some tips and tricks that have helped me along the way, and hopefully this will be a great place for discussion, for ideas, and like this video, subscribe to the channel. There's a little notification bell. If you don't hit that, YouTube may or may not alert you when there's new videos. If you want to see every new video, hit that notification bell and you'll see a little notification every time I post a new video. And leave some comments. I'd love to hear what you have to say, and we'll get a discussion going. Alright guys, thanks!